You ever wake up one day thinking you're just going to shovel a little snow, maybe help a neighbor or two, and somehow you end up smack in the middle of a legal standoff worthy of a bad TV movie? Yeah, that happened. You want the truth about neighborly community spirit. Sometimes it's just code for who gets to boss everyone else around. I'm Vincent Forrester. I've lived in Pine Ridge, Colorado, just outside Boulder, for a good 15 years now. I own a couple acres, nothing fancy, but there's a sturdy garage for my gear and just enough trees to keep the wind honest. I run a one-man snow removal business. Me, my old plow truck, and folks who remember what it means to look out for each other when the weather comes down hard. Back when I moved in, Pine Ridge was a neighborhood where everybody minded their own business, and maybe your neighbor's business if they needed help. The HOA? Please. Old Mr. Henderson handled it with a smile, collecting dues that barely covered coffee and donuts for the potluck. Nobody cared what color your mailbox was, or if your fence leaned a little. Hell, fences were just guidelines, something to lean on while you drank beer with Tom Webster and watched the sunset. But things change, right? Mr. Henderson passed away, God rest him, and suddenly there's a for sale sign at the Whitmore house up on the hill. Enter Patricia. Freshly divorced, big settlement, bigger opinions. She moves in like a general inspecting the troops, starts waving around promises about elevating property values and enforcing standards. And, most of us don't even show up to vote at the HOA meeting where she takes over. I was working out of state, so that's on me. Next thing we know, Patricia's the new sheriff in town, except with more makeup and a louder voice. At first, the changes are small. Christmas lights gotta come down by January 2nd. Grass can't be over 4 inches. Okay, fine. We all grumble and move on. But then she sets her sights on commercial vehicles, meaning my plow truck. According to Patricia, commercial trucks can't be parked in driveways overnight. So I get clever, park it behind my garage where nobody but the raccoons can see it. Figured that'd be the end of it. Then, this past December, we get hit with a storm. I'm talking 3 feet of snow in a day and a half. My phone blows up, elderly folks needing their driveways cleared, people trying to get to work or doctor's appointments. I'm out there from before dawn until after dark, plowing every street, every driveway I can manage. And that's when Patricia's little notes start showing up. The first one, she tries to sound polite. Mr. Forrester, please be advised, commercial vehicles require HOA approval. Yeah, okay. Straight into the glove box with that one. I'm not stopping to file paperwork when Mrs. Chun needs to get to dialysis. Second note. Less nice. Final warning. Unauthorized commercial activity will result in fines and legal action. I find it after clearing a path for the mail truck. The irony wasn't lost on me. So I decide, you know what? Time to go to the source. I show up at the next HOA meeting. Patricia's living room looks like she robbed a pottery barn. Vaulted ceilings, a fireplace you could roast a wild boar in, and a dozen people who all look like they're trying to remember where they left their spines. Patricia calls the meeting to order like she's running the UN. She's got an agenda. Printed. 7 items. Item 7. Unauthorized commercial vehicle operation. She singles me out. So I stand up, boots muddy, jacket fleeced with snow, hands still raw from shoveling. I say, Patricia, I live here. These are public roads. I'm just trying to help folks out. She looks at me over her glasses, one of those practiced, chilly smiles, and says, actually, our HOA rules, recently updated, give us the right to regulate commercial vehicle traffic causing excessive noise or infrastructure damage. Section 12, paragraph 4. Like I memorize bylaws for fun. And then, get this, she offers me a commercial activity permit for $500 a month, plus a $2,000 deposit. I just stare at her. Even her friends look uncomfortable. That's extortion, I say. That's the cost of doing business in a quality community, she shoots back. Take it or leave it. And, oh, if she catches me again? $100 a pop. She'll put a lien on my property. I look around for support. People avoid my eyes. Only Tom Webster pipes up. Tom's been here since Nixon was president, says, Vince cleared my driveway last week. Wouldn't take a penny. Patricia says that's very charitable, like she's spitting lemon juice. But, rules are rules. I go home, pop a beer, stare at the stack of bills, and try to figure out how $5,000 a year in Patricia's pocket is going to work for me. Spoiler, it won't. Next day, more snow. Mrs. Chin calls. She needs help. I start up the truck, roll toward her place, and there's Patricia. Her Mercedes is blocking the street, hazards blinking, her in a jacket that probably costs more than my monthly mortgage. Phone held up like she's Anderson Cooper. You're operating a commercial vehicle in violation of HOA regulations, she yells. That's $100. If you keep going, it's another 100. I try to explain. Mrs. Chun has a medical appointment. She can hire a different service, one that follows the rules, or apply for a hardship exemption at our next quarterly meeting in March. It's January. She doesn't blink. I just sit there, engine idling, hands tied on the wheel. I've read enough HOA horror stories. People lose their homes over unpaid fines. Patricia has lawyers on speed dial. I got a truck payment, so I back out, go home. Phone rings all morning. Mrs. Chin's apologizing. The Robinsons need their drive cleared. I have to say no to everyone inside the HOA. Some are understanding, some get mad. Mrs. Chin cries. That one about kills me. I offer to shovel by hand. She doesn't want me getting in trouble. By the end of the week, I'm out 6 regulars. Word spreads. Vince can't work in Pine Ridge anymore. Some say I lost my license. Others claim I got arrested. Patricia's telling everyone the HOA is protecting the community from my illegal business. I focus outside the HOA and try not to think about the folks stuck behind snowbanks. Then comes the big one, the storm of the decade. News crews, weather alerts, the whole 9 yards. 5 feet of snow predicted. I prep like I'm going to war. My clients outside the HOA pay extra for guaranteed service. The storm hits, and Pine Ridge is buried. I'm plowing like a madman for 18 hours, finally stagger home, can barely see my own porch. Morning after, phone rings. It's the school district. Bus can't get into Pine Ridge. Roads haven't been cleared. Kids can't get to school. Sorry, call the county, I say. But the county only does main roads. HOA is supposed to handle the side streets. They tell me I'm the listed contractor. I explain the Patricia situation. Try her, I say. She's not answering. Of course she isn't. Calls keep coming. Parents, the county, even the medical supply company. Nobody can get through. Patricia's been telling everyone the HOA has it covered. Turns out, she's been collecting extra fees for professional snow removal services. Money she never spent, because she'd chased off the only person willing to do the job. Tom Webster finally calls. Vince, we got a real problem. Folks are running out of meds, oxygen, food. The bus can't get through. We need you. I tell him I can't. Patricia will find me into bankruptcy. This isn't about Patricia anymore, Tom says. It's about people who need help. Mrs. Chun hasn't had her meds delivered. The Robinsons' kids running out of inhalers. An old lady on Pine Ridge courts running low on oxygen. I pace my kitchen for an hour, cussing under my breath, torn between anger and guilt. This isn't my fault. Patricia made this mess. But those people, they didn't deserve it. So I grab my keys, fire up the truck, and drive straight into the heart of the HOA. Drifts higher than my hood. Takes me 3 passes to clear a single street. But folks come out, waving, offering cash, which I turn down. I clear every street, every driveway that needs it. And just as I'm finishing, here comes Patricia, horn blaring, filming me on her phone. You're in violation, she screams. I have you on video. You're going to be fined. I look at her and say, send me the bill. She calls 911 right there in the street. Sheriff shows up, young guy named Morrison. He's tired. He's seen this before. Look, HOA rules aren't my department, he says. I can't enforce civil disputes. Are these county roads? I nod. Well, then there's nothing to charge you with. Between you and me, thanks for clearing the streets. Try not to antagonize angry HOA ladies, all right? He grins, drives off. Patricia's left standing there, fuming, as I go home. Life gets back to normal, sort of. But then, certified mail. Patricia finds me for every street I plowed. $300 here, $300 there, late fees piling up, a lien notice on my property. I hire a lawyer, learn that HOA law is a swamp, and she actually has some legal footing. Fighting it in court could cost thousands. Meanwhile, the fines snowball. So I stop. I stop plowing the HOA, even when folks beg. The school bus gives up on Pine Ridge. Medical services stop answering calls. Ambulances refuse to risk it. The fire department sends a warning. Response times aren't guaranteed. 2 houses go up for sale, no offers. Property values drop like a rock. Then comes the twist. Turns out, Patricia's been using the HOA like her own piggy bank. Tom demands a financial review. Patricia stonewalls, gets angry, storms out of the meeting. Tom gathers a petition, 35 households sign. Patricia can't ignore it. Schedules a special meeting, promises to bring the books. Never shows. Turns out she drained 47 grand from the HOA, skipped town, and is living under a fake name in Phoenix. The sheriff tracks her down, arrests her on felony charges. She goes to trial. Jury doesn't buy her story. She gets 6 years in state prison, restitution, banned from ever running another HOA. After that, nobody wants to touch the HOA with a 10-foot pole. It dissolves. Streets go back to county maintenance. It's not perfect, but at least nobody's skimming off the top. My clients return, apologetic, grateful, sometimes tearful. Mrs. Chun cries again, but this time she's happy. Tom throws a barbecue. Someone jokes about making me HOA president. I laugh so hard I nearly spill my beer. I see Patricia once, a couple years later, at a coffee shop in Boulder. She's older, looks tired, working retail now. She comes up to me, says, "Vince, I owe you an apology. I was wrong about everything." I nod. "Yeah, you were." She tells me she thought she was helping, but really, she just wanted control because her life was out of control. We part on that. I never see her again. Last I heard, she's in Wyoming, starting over. Good luck to her. Me? I'm still here. Still clearing snow, still helping neighbors. The difference is, nobody questions whether I'm allowed to do it. No fines. No threats. No one looking over my shoulder. I've learned a lot. HOAs, man, they can be a tool for good or a weapon in the wrong hands. In Patricia's hands, it was all about power and money. In mine, it's just about helping people. Funny thing is, without the HOA, Pine Ridge bounced back. Property values went up. People felt free to paint their doors purple if they wanted. Nobody cared. We looked out for each other because we wanted to, not because some rule book told us to. When Mrs. Chin passed away last spring at 92, her daughter told me that being able to get out in winter gave her dignity. That means more to me than any paycheck ever could. I sometimes wonder, what if I'd just paid Patricia's extortion fee? Would she have kept stealing, just quieter? Would anyone have found out? I doubt it. Tyrants don't stop when you give them what they want. They just push for more. The only way to stop them is to stand your ground, let the mess come to light, and deal with the fallout. Tom says I'm a hero. I say I just did what made sense. Help people who need help. Don't take what's not yours. Simple, obvious, except, apparently, not to everyone. Young families move in now, relieved there's no HOA. They want to live in peace, not under someone's thumb. That's what we've got. An honest community, not a perfect one, but one that's better for all the scars. And you know, maybe that's the real lesson here. Community isn't about rules or bylaws or who has the fanciest mailbox. It's about trust. About showing up for your neighbors, not because you have to, but because you want to. Sometimes, it takes a tyrant to remind us of that. Sometimes, you have to watch everything fall apart before you see what really matters. So what do you think? Where's the line between keeping order and just plain controlling people? Have you ever tangled with an HOA or a neighbor who went too far? I want to hear your stories, your thoughts on right, wrong, justice, or just surviving the winter. Drop a comment. Tell me what community means to you. Maybe we'll figure out together how to keep the good and lose the bad. After all, isn't that what neighbors are for?